of their inventory is actually new equipment, and it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play it against sports at 48th and Vine.
The Ticket Water Cooler.
Typically, you kind of think of Nebraska as far as in-state recruiting as might not get the skill position players, but you can pepper in some offensive linemen and maybe a linebacker here and there. This class is led by its in-state skill position players now. I mean, you thinking down the line, you could 3 or 4 years from now have Daniel Kalen lining up with Davon Holland, Isaiah McMorris, and now Carter Nelson. Those are all your skill positions.
Keeping the highly talented, highly ranked players that are in the state with you at the home state school is a step in the right direction.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That's right. Welcome to it on a Wednesday. I'm Austin Orman, but I am relieved. My partner back in studio. Strick, it is so good to see you. How are you, my friend?
Yes, sir. Glad to be back in the building. I am excited. It came back last night. We did WTF. Klesser and I came in here and went nuts and just had a great time. We're going to dig into a concept potentially on that, but that was late night action. But it's daytime. It's hump day. It is a Wednesday. Back in the building with my guy, Austin Orman. And it's I feel refreshed and glad to be back home. Let me just say that. It's nothing like it's good to sometimes be on the road. I can always tell you that there's nothing greater than to get home, get in your own bed, and wake up to your own sound of whatever the noise and the visions and the visuals that be in the home at your own house. There's nothing greater.
Also great. Mary Ellen's back open.
Strick
back in Lincoln. Mary Ellen's back open for you through the weekend down at 27th and Pine Lake. Charles and Company. We know they do a great job. If you haven't been down there, make sure you get yourself down there. If you have been down there, get back again. It's a good place to be. And again, they're open through the weekend, got their lunch buffet and everything all set up for you. Speaking of set up for you, 402-464-5685, the Starter Heyman text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline. If you've got anything to add to the show, please send that in. Also, the comment section on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter are there for you. Strick, Thunderknot Collins has a question on the text line.
Yeah.
He hasn't been paying attention on Tuesday nights. He doesn't know what WTF stands for.
So WTF is We Talk Facts 8 to 9 on Tuesdays. Cluster Johnson and I joined up to do an evening segment that is, it's topical related. It's not, strictly about sports. It's actually very topical. Last night we dug into talking about recruiting and is there any correlation into the past that can be duplicated or restored in the Rule Dynasty? What's that going to look like? What does it take? We had Mike Sauter to join us because we talked about the recruiting numbers that have gone up tremendously. I mean, you're looking at over 20 group of 5 and like 12 power 5 recruits that are in state. Wow. at whatever level, and Rule has landed 6 of them. So that's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And so we talked about that dynamic, those details, and we really dug into it. It was really good. It was fun. I mean, it's fun. It's joking, it's laughter, but it's very just real, real. We keep it on the block here, gangsta. Real.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, it's just a different thing on when you get together with your partner, your boy that you went to high school with, mm-hmm. The energy is kind of wild and and fun, and there's some facts that are being spewed out there we try to have a great time with.
Tuesday nights, 8 to 9, we talk facts with Strick and Quester. Thunderknot Collins, I get it. I get work meetings. I get it coming in, maybe being in the way of listening live. But we do have podcasts. You can always listen back, right? It's up wherever you get your podcast, 93.7 The Ticket. All our content is out there as well. So just because you can't listen live doesn't mean that's an excuse for you not to listen, because we're everywhere. You can't avoid us. It's on the website. It's on the app, wherever you get your podcasts. Go find it if you miss it. I know I enjoy listening to you guys when I get the chance to tune in. My show's The Corner 3, college basketball on Monday nights, because you and I talk a lot of Nebraska, a lot of Big Ten. I try to save most of the Duke talk for
the Corner 3.
Yes, time, place, and manner.
Absolutely. But we see you stay consistent with the blue.
I try.
Because you're very Kansas City too,
and the Colts that make me blue.
Yeah, in a different way.
Yeah.
So that's we say you're very consistent on what you like to see with the eyes. So
absolutely. Plenty to get to on the show today, but Strick, floor is yours for the next 5 minutes. Though, tell us about Vegas. How was it?
Vegas was interesting. Again, DP and Rico, man, it was phenomenal to work alongside them doing UFC stuff. Just the energy in the room, the access. You're talking about young, up and coming types of in the boxing realm. You're seeing legends like Freddie Roach, and you're getting to bump shoulders with them and chop it up with them and really find out a little bit more about them, something probably you wouldn't get a chance to see just him doing commentary or just doing interviews normally. So that was pretty cool. And then just getting to see some of the old school guys that started off the UFC and talk to them, and then some of the guys that have done it and had big fights, and the women who are having tremendous success and they're rising up as well, or they've had championship pedigree. So it was really cool. When you see Shevchenko, and you see Orlovsky.
Dan Orlovsky, former NFL quarterback.
No, not that. Who else? Gosh dang, I mean, Usman, they are walking right by. I mean, it's really cool. So then you duplicate that and you go over to the basketball side. So you get a chance to see some of your old teammates. So I got to chop it up with Robert Pack, and who I played with in Dallas, and got to hang out with Nick Van Exel one night. Actually got to see Pritchford, who played at Nebraska, Walter Pritchford. We got a chance to chop it up and have a little dinner and some cigars and mix and mingle. And so it's really cool. He's doing really well. I mean, it looks like he's starting helping out with a new agency that's about to embark and start. So they invited us to that for a dinner, but then get to see some of the players. You saw the struggle on some of them, right? Wembanyama struggled early. Miller struggled early. Scoot looked pretty good in a lot of instances.
Before the shoulder, and
the twins. You got to see them and just how you see how athletic and how well they are. Some of their IQ, some of their struggles, a lot of nerves you got to see, but then you got to see the bounce back. Just kind of getting into themselves, having conversations with the coaching staff, or watching some film, or breaking down some things and making the adjustments and becoming better. You got to see that. So you saw that with Miller, having a tremendous night, only playing a couple of games, which is normal. It's normal for those guys, because you see like Scoot and one of the twins went down with injuries. Chet Holmgren looked pretty good on his comeback and return as a sophomore. Definitely Shaden Sharp. They look phenomenal. Yeah, so you got to see some of that, and I think that was pretty cool to see some of those things from some of those young fellas, and then the guys that are coming back and showcasing their skills and how they've grown over the last year.
I'm going to make an assumption here. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Summer league environment is not the same as walking into an arena opening night.
Oh, no way.
Does that concern you for the guys that were nervous in Vegas that they might, shy away in their first regular season?
I mean, it's very possible, but I think it just gives you, you can try to duplicate those types of things in practice, but there's nothing like the competition. because the levels go up. So one of the things you see like at Summer League is guys are trying to earn it. Guys are trying to earn spots. So they're going super extra hard. You might get some chase downs, some slight undercuts, and some different things. So you gotta play to a level of where you're minimizing any opportunities to be hurt by not going hard. And so the nerves come because guys are coming for you. Right? Sometimes it's not always nerves. It's just the adjustment to the speed. You don't have a lot of time in whatever camp and short time that you get a chance to practice. You're throwing in some sets and you're learning a few things, and you got to make those adjustments. And so they're trying to figure this out during that period, and it can be tough. But once you do it, and it's going to take some time, but some of those guys are going to get it faster than others.
Absolutely. So you've been around, been in some big moments and big environments. What was it like for you, being media for UFC? Was that nerve?
Dude,
was that fun? What was your experience being media like there?
It was phenomenal. And one of the things I'll just say that for 93.7 The Ticket to have that type of access, you're getting that kind of content. It was beautiful to see. It was beautiful to see what, Rebecca and DP have worked so diligently and hard to put us in the realms of multi-sport, multi-activities. I'm going to head out to, obviously, some of you guys are heading out to Big Ten Media Day. But, yeah, man, it's next level. It's next level to be able to walk into the building. Initially, I didn't have my credentials. So, Rico, we get stopped because they're serious about it, right? We get stopped, and he's like, I would need you to just go ahead and go get that, because he was like, well, I've got it in here at the media desk, blah, blah, blah. You had to make that long trek. And when I tell you the lines, like this is a big, like if you've never been to Vegas and seen that Las Vegas Convention Center, that convention center is huge. It spans for probably 5 or 6 blocks going east to west. It's huge. Like you need to tell them specifically what side of the freaking convention center you're on, south, central, west. And when I tell you that the people were around the block, not on the block, but around the block,
yeah,
waiting and walking and standing and waiting to get interviews or not interviews, but to get signatures. And you saw some of these young fighters. One, you saw some of the young fighters that are coming up that these people are excited because they see something in these young fighters. And that was beautiful to see just how they interacted with the fans. And they were just everywhere in this big convention center. It was huge. So that was good.
That's awesome. Glad to have you back. Glad you're here on the block. Plenty to dive into the rest of the week. We'll hit some NBA stuff tomorrow. I'm really excited about the direction we're going with tomorrow's show with some of the NBA headlines, NBA adjacent in-season tournament. We'll talk about a little bit that and just some stories from some players who've bounced around the league, the importance of attitude. That'll be tomorrow. But coming up next, we're going to hit on the MLB draft, the Nebraska angle with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. And we'll get into some recruiting fact versus fiction, I guess, as it relates to, private schools with everything going on with Northwestern. Some things that have been bouncing around my mind that way. And then also some NFL, ones that got away. This is going to be fascinating.
It's going to be fun.
Go over.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for all that. We're here on the block. Glad you're with us. Back with Evan Bland next.
Y'all feeling lucky? Luke Combs here, and I have an exclusive opportunity for you to win $500,000 by joining me in the Living Lucky Luke Combs Lottery Experience. When it rains, it pours for lucky fans and lottery players who enter to win a chance of a lifetime. Join me in Nashville for a private concert at the iconic Ryman Auditorium in 2024. One lucky winner will have the chance to walk away with $500,000 at the end of the show.
Details at nelottery.com. Living Lucky with Luke Combs ticket top prize odds 1 in 128,000.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone again, and with me on the line, Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know how proud you at the dealership are to earn the prestigious Honda President's Award year after year, 17 times. Tell our listeners what it means to you and your customers.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, all of us are extremely proud to have earned this award, and I want all of our customers to know it's not just earned by one person's effort. It's the entire dealership, sales, parts, and our amazing amazing service department.
17 times. Wow. How does that compare to other Honda dealers?
This award is only given to the most elite dealerships that demonstrate excellence. We really do strive to go above and beyond for the ultimate customer experience before and after the sale, Charlie.
That's why for 2022, Honda of Lincoln is once again Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer. Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply on at action.com.
You deserve the best. With a Liberty First MasterCard, you can pay down your high-rate debt and could save hundreds when you transfer the balance. The Liberty First Credit Union MasterCard has no balance transfer fees, no cash advance fees, and no annual fee. And with a fixed rate as low as 9.99% APR, and you choose rewards, you'll be able to manage your card your way. Visit libertyfirstu.com. Terms are based on your credit and subject to change. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
General contractor, business owners, prop owners. The success of your business requires doing business with the right people. And the right people, when it comes to drywall, acoustical ceilings, and specialty products, are at Premier Drywall. Kevin and his crew will give your project the response and attention it deserves.
You'll get all of the attention to detail and quality that you would expect from someone who's been in the business for 30 years. For your new builds, build-outs, or renovations, reach out to Kevin. Kevin at premierdw.com. Premier Drywall in Lincoln.
The wait is almost over. The Guardians of Freedom Air Show is the hottest event in the area, coming to Lincoln's Air Park on Saturday, August 26th and Sunday, August 27th. Elevate your air show experience with tickets to the premium seating tent, padded seats, meals, and more for just $125. Premium tickets are going fast, so buy yours today. To purchase premium tickets and for more information, visit LincolnAirShow.com. We'll see you at the Guardians of Freedom Air Show in late August.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know it's a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and storms this morning. We'll see gradual clearing and partly sunny skies this afternoon with a high of around 89. Tonight, mostly clear skies are expected with a low of around 67. And tomorrow, partly sunny skies again, along with a chance of spotty showers and storms. It's be high around 91. The route is out from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland with you for the next hour and a half or so here on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We go to our Allo Fiber VIP line, Allo Fiber, where we understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, your number one overall draft pick, Victor Wembanyama, through 2 games at Summer League. Are you ready to declare him a first ballot Hall of Famer yet? Yes or no?
No, I'm going to go out on a limb and say no, but he's very exciting. There have been some awesome plays, just how he disrupts both ends of the floor in a 10-second span. So no, but getting there.
Fair enough. Also on the draft, as we turn our focus to Nebraska baseball, Bryce Matthews, Max Anderson both picked on night one of the MLB draft, a little higher than I think most of the industry expected them to go. Do you think those guys were maybe signability picks as we talk about kind of the gamesmanship of the MLB draft? Or do you think that the Astros and the Tigers and maybe other teams were higher on Matthews and Anderson than maybe the rankings industry was?
I think with Matthews especially, there was a little bit of signability stuff, and the strategy there being, if you're a major league franchise, you maybe lean toward drafting, at least in the first round, the college player who has a little bit less leverage than maybe a high upside high school kid who could still go to college and be a little bit harder to sign. So that's possible, but it was pretty consistent across the board. I mean, Bryce Matthews was sort of a fringe first rounder, more likely a second rounder. He goes at the end of the first. I mean, Max Anderson had a pretty wide range of outcomes from like mid second to mid fourth, and he goes at the front end of that. Emmett Olson and Jace Kaminska, sort of the same deal. Olson was definitely on the front end of his projections in the fourth, and then Kaminska, quite honestly, I thought there was a chance he might not get drafted at all and go the free agent round. He goes in the 10th. So, just a really strong weekend for Nebraska in terms of outpacing, its projections and things of that nature. The hitters were, I thought, especially interesting because the Astros, they took a chance, I think, with Bryce Matthews. I think you start talking about first round talents and kind of how the first round shapes up. He maybe was the reach of that first round. And of course, that's not to say that he's not a talent, because he's got the speed and the power and the defensive flexibility to play a lot of premium positions. But, he did strike out a decent amount. I know teams fell in love with his exit velocity numbers, which were on par with some of the best in the draft, including Dylan Cruz from LSU. So they saw a lot of potential there, and I think that their pick of Bryce Matthews was a vote of confidence in their system to take what he's done and really develop that and push it to the next level as a pro.
And then on Max Anderson, the concerns I've heard about him from people ranking, draft classes this early on, is there's concern about him staying at second base. He's a guy that played all over the infield at Nebraska, but in the MLB, they're saying there's a risk that he's a second base, maybe left field type. Do you see any of that concern? Do you think that's overblown? Did we not talk about it enough at Nebraska? Because Max Anderson seemed like a really solid second baseman.
Yeah, I agree. And that was a position he really hadn't played much of at all until this year. And he commits 2 errors and he starts all 57 games that Nebraska played. So it certainly was not a defensive liability or anything like that. He doesn't have maybe the athleticism that jumps out at you the way that it does with a guy like Bryce Matthews. And so I think that's probably what you're looking at a little bit there. I mean, he was a solid third baseman for Nebraska too in the years prior to this spring, just very sure-handed and kind of knew what you were going to get from him out there. So for him to go in the second round with those concerns, whether, founded or not, like that really speaks highly to the hit tool. And, some of Detroit's decision makers spoke about it on Zoom at the end of the night. And like, that was their big thing with Max Anderson and some of their other picks as well, was just like, let's find guys that can put bat to ball at an elite level, guys that have shown an ability to adjust their swings, adjust their approaches throughout a season, or maybe even throughout an at-bat. And then you just kind of figure out the rest. And so, I think Max Anderson could be a guy that ends up proving those scouts wrong, and he could maybe be a second baseman. I don't think his defensive ability there is all that less than what you see from some major league second basemen right now who are renowned as good hitters, quite honestly. But even if he doesn't stick there, like we said, I mean, he could follow sort of the Alex Gordon path into left field. He could, maybe get a look at first base, where he played some for Nebraska too, a little bit undersized at 6 foot. So that's probably the hesitation there. But again, when your bat plays to the extreme that it did for Max Anderson, and you're talking about hitting 414 or whatever it was this season in college, you make room, you figure it out. And, I'm sure, again, with the bat and what he's shown defensively, he's going to find a way to get on the field consistently.
If it is first base for Max Anderson, that would be kind of the Jake Cronenworth path. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and there are guys that are absolutely valuable in that spot, and maybe he's not a 30 home run professional type hitter, but maybe maybe it's 15 and 20, and is a 290, 300 hitter and solid at first. Like, you would take that absolutely, especially from a guy who's just shown it as consistently as he has. So there are a lot of ways that you can figure it out. Teams can get creative. It's the hitting part of it that's harder to replicate, and that's the part that he has down.
We're talking with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald here on our Allo VIP line. Evan, you mentioned a good night for Nebraska baseball in the draft with 4 of the guys, going over the 3 days. Does the fact that there were 4 draft picks and maybe guys that went a little higher than expected change how you look back at Nebraska's season at all?
A little bit. It's as disappointing as I think the season was for fans. I've heard it a lot in the last few days. Like, okay, if they had 4 top 10 round guys, then how did that team not end up in the NCAA tournament? And, I think there's some that it's worth having a discussion with that. But the reason that Nebraska didn't play in the NCAA tournament was not because of those guys who got drafted. I think it was in spite of some of those efforts. I mean, it's stuff that we've talked about, whether that's general clutch hitting from the offense, certainly pitching depth, especially as it played out in the midweek. I think that's really, the areas that Nebraska has to shore up. And, it's interesting too, because from a historical perspective, 4 high-end picks the way that Nebraska has had is pretty good by program standards. But when you look across college baseball right now and you see the teams that are winning at the highest level, they're sending in this draft, LSU sent 13 players to the pros, or at least guys who were drafted. Wake Forest had 10, Tennessee had 8, Stanford had 9, Maryland, which won the Big Ten, had 7. So like, that's the standard that you have to get to if you're Nebraska. And so that would say that not only do you need some of those high-end guys the way that Nebraska had this year, but you need more of a quality of depth. And again, that shows up in the lineup when the bottom half of that lineup's producing. That shows up in the midweek when you have or don't have some quality arms out there who can give you a strong start against an undermatched opponent. And I think that's really the area that Nebraska's having to dial in on moving forward is, okay, at the top, I think Nebraska and a lot of the smaller schools outside the ACC and SEC, they can keep up with some of the top end talent, but it gets down to when you get into roster spot, 12 through 20, that's where a lot of the difference is made. And I think that's where Nebraska is trying to close the gap.
Last thing on the draft, then, former Husker killer Mike Bovee drafted, former Husker Jackson Jelkin drafted, but a local guy that wasn't taken was Cam Kojal out of Millard South. Saw that at the bottom of your write-up about Jackson Jelkin being taken. Do you have any idea, what draft range it would have taken for Cam Kojal to skip over his Vanderbilt commitment?
Well, I talked to him before the draft, and it was about a dollar figure, and he didn't get specific on what that was, but typically, you look at historically with Vanderbilt signees specifically, those guys tend to command 7-figure signing bonuses, or at least high 6 figures. And otherwise, recent history would say that those guys end up going to Vanderbilt and most of the time improving their draft stock and benefiting from that 3 years later. So I don't know specifically what Cam Kojal was looking for. It was probably something in that range. And by the end of day 2, I think you had a pretty good sense that he was going to end up going to Vanderbilt because the slot values of those picks, once you get down into round 10, you're talking about, $150,000, $170,000, which just isn't going to move a guy who can, again, go to Vanderbilt, bet on himself, and probably come out on the other end a lot better. So he went in, I think, open-minded with the idea that, hey, maybe there is a team that really believes in him to the point to where they will make a significant financial investment into him, kind of life-changing money. But he was also pretty clear with the idea that, hey, if that doesn't happen, he's more than happy to go to Vanderbilt, more than happy to maybe make a return trip to Omaha, for the College World Series at some point. And he's confident enough in his abilities and in Vanderbilt's ability to develop players that in 3 years, he's pretty confident his name has a pretty good chance of being called.
Talking with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald here on our Allo VIP line. Evan, switching gears to football, the last 5 days have been quite something for Northwestern, just adding to an offseason of change in the Big Ten West, basically up and down. So as you look at the Big Ten West division, which team do you think has undergone the most, I don't know if I want to say tumultuous, dramatic kind of offseason of change?
I mean, other than Northwestern, they're pretty clearly the clubhouse leader at that point. But you've got 3 new coaches in the league this year, right? I mean, with Luke Fickell at Wisconsin, Ryan Walters at Purdue. I think those are all interesting in their own rights. The Luke Fickell one is interesting to me. I think there are a lot of Nebraska parallels in some ways when you talk about a program that was winning consistently, but maybe not at as high a level as the fan base would want. And so they make a pretty big change philosophically, especially on offense, where they're going with more of a pass heavy approach compared to what they've done in the past. This was a discussion I was having with some of my colleagues this week, where I feel like that move that Wisconsin made is sort of a nod to what the Big Ten is going to become in 2 years when they ditch divisions, and you suddenly it's not going to be good enough to win the West, and then you get the one shot at Ohio State or Michigan for a Big Ten title. Now the goal becomes, how do you finish in that top 3 or 4, or have a chance to do that so you can be in the playoff mix moving forward. And I think Wisconsin's coaching change was an acknowledgement of this idea that while their floor had been high, their ceiling maybe was limited into that Big Ten middle class. And so I'll be really curious to see, how that team does, not just this season, but moving forward, if it in fact was able to raise its roof and its ceiling, so to speak, with what it can do moving forward, or if it sort of mortgaged what it had been good at, and maybe it could fall into some, lengthy struggles, the way that we saw Nebraska do when it made a similar transition.
As you look at that type of decision making from Wisconsin, it's clear they have the attitude to try to keep up, but the infrastructure, I think, is another key part of that, because it's one thing to want to make the change. It's the next to actually, put your money where your mouth is, invest in the facilities and the resources. Are there enough Big Ten West teams that have both the infrastructure and the attitude to make a change like Wisconsin did, with the eye on the, divisionless Big Ten and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, I think the resources and the facility piece is fairly even. I mean, everybody's getting the big TV paydays, and everybody's going to have facilities if they don't already. I mean, even Northwestern, for all of its issues, has just a gorgeous, practice facility right there in Lake Michigan. And I think Wisconsin, for all the imperfections of Camp Randall Stadium, actually has a pretty decent facility where players work out on the side. So to me, it really is about the attitude portion of that. And when I think of teams that maybe have high floors, but whose ceilings are limited, I think of Illinois, I think of Minnesota, I think of Purdue, although maybe that's changing under Ryan Walters. It's I guess Northwestern I would include in that as well. Teams that sort of play keep away on offense, and they don't tend to bottom out or have these terrible seasons, but you also kind of know that they're going to be capped at 7 or 8 or maybe 9 wins. I think Iowa would fall in that category right now as well. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think Nebraska, for all of its on-field struggles, I don't think would have much of a problem going all in. I think that's what they're doing anyway. And yes, it's failed spectacularly at times, but I do think that their mentality of thinking bigger and thinking of what their ceiling can be is a lot different from some of those West teams that are going to have some, I think, tough decisions to make again in 2 years when those divisions go away. And it's not all about, hey, am I in the West race into November? It's going to be, you're in November and you're, 3 games out of first, and you're just sort of playing out the string for the middle of the pack. So that to me is one of the more fascinating things to watch in the Big Ten over the course of the next year, as teams transition again out of this mentality of winning the West to how do we keep up with Ohio State and Michigan over the course of a full season.
That's the ultimate goal, obviously, in the Big Ten is those. I would even throw Penn State into that mix. I think Penn State has been at least competing with them very well. There's got to be a next step for James Franklin at some point. But are Maryland and Michigan State better positioned for this divisionless Big Ten because they've been playing in the East? Is that kind of the range that the Big Ten West is going to be, fighting over? Or is the Big Ten West going to overtake those teams just because of the, higher floor we've been accustomed to?
Yeah, I think Penn State, of all the teams in the Big Ten, is probably going to benefit the most from the abolishment of divisions. Like, suddenly they're not going to have to play Michigan and Ohio State every year, or even Michigan State when they're on. Like, they're going to get more of the West, less of the East powers. So I think absolutely they're a team that was always buried, and it was like, how are we ever going to win the East? And now it becomes, hey, even if they finish behind Michigan and Ohio State, chances are still pretty good that they could finish third in the Big Ten most years and get into the playoff when it becomes a 12-teamer. So I absolutely think that's a team that benefits. Maryland, probably for the same reasons on a lower scale. I mean, you're talking about trading, again, some of those East powers for some of the middle class in the West. And yeah, I mean, if you're in the West, you might not get to play Northwestern every year and Illinois and what have you. And I always felt like the West, it didn't have the high-end teams, but maybe it had a little bit more depth than what you saw in the East year in and year out, generally speaking. So, I think, again, those teams will probably still be in sort of the middle of the pack. It's just a matter of do they make some major philosophical changes to try to compete, or are they sort of content to make a bowl game? You don't bottom out. It's never a disaster. But come November, you're probably not playing for, high stakes football either. It's going to be really interesting.
It's Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald with us, as he is Wednesdays at 2:30 here on the block. Evan, as always, appreciate the time. Have a good rest of your week.
Hey, thanks. See ya.
There he is, Evan Bland, on the Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo Fiber, where we understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We'll step aside here on the block. Welcome back in the Husker Hall of Fame, the 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland, to wrap up hour one of On the Block.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for Fireworks Fridays, Souvenir Saturdays, Sunday Family Fun Days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
Whether you're looking for a new place to call home or trying to sell your current home, you want to make it as easy as possible. So why not use a realtor that works harder so you don't have to? The Carpe Diem team at Nebraska Realty is your go-to realty team for all your residential and commercial needs. They pride themselves on working hard and making your life as easy as possible while educating you every step of the way. Contact the Carpe Diem team to seize your moment, whether it be buying, selling, building, investing, or even commercial real estate. Give them a call today at 402-429-8121.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Smoked meats, amazing sides. The only problem when they fix you a plate is that at some point, that plate will be empty. But hear me out. What if that plate was never empty? That dream can be your reality with the Mary Ellen's Express Lunch Buffet. From 11 to 2 every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday. One price, all you can eat, and it even comes with a drink. Tell your boss you're taking a long lunch and get down there. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul at 29th and Pine Lake. Let them fix you a plate.
The sweet relief of air conditioning after a hot day in the summer sun. Only $2.08 a day. LES helps power life's special moments and your comfort. Learn more at les.com/value.
Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8255 8934, and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Doren. God bless you.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Arnold's Tavern in Havelock is the place to be this summer, and the best place in town for shuffleboard. Come on Wednesdays and learn from some of the best players in town for the Shuffleboard Corner. Come on Sundays for Open House League all day starting at 11 a.m. and enjoy $3 tall boys and $3 wells. Shake off the start to the work week with karaoke on Monday nights. And don't forget, happy hour is every day from 3 to 6 p.m., and you are always welcome to bring in your own Arnold's Tavern in Havelock.
The wait is almost over. The Guardians of Freedom Air Show is the hottest event in the area. Coming to Lincoln's Air Park on Saturday, August 26th and Sunday, August 27th. Elevate your air show experience with tickets to the premium seating tent, padded seats, meals, and more for just $125. Premium tickets are going fast, so buy yours today. To purchase premium tickets and for more information, visit LincolnAirShow.com. We'll see you at the Guardians of Freedom Air Show in late August.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and our Independence Day sale is underway with some great savings. Get 0.9% interest rates and a trade-in bonus on select new models. You heard right, 0.9% interest rates going on at Coppell. In addition, we didn't want to leave out our pre-owned inventory, so right now on all pre-owned cars, get $1,000 for bringing us your trade, and that's right, get $1,000 off any pre-owned car you trade in. So stop on in the store or at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Old School with DP and J.
As long as it's taken for him to build up that program to be pretty successful by their standards and look, pretty successful by Big Ten West standards, you have to take that into accountability. You can't be an impulsive, in the moment type of decision maker, because how you handle Pat Fitzgerald could stymie you from hiring, because those coaches talk.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here wrapping up hour one on the block, and we got tickets for you. We got some Lincoln Salt Dogs tickets for you for this Saturday. That's right. Make your plans now. 93.7 The Ticket has a featured night with your Lincoln Salt Dogs at Haymarket Park. We have a 6:05 first pitch against Milwaukee. We're giving away 2 sets of 4 tickets here during this hour of On the Block. All you got to do is this. The Lincoln Salt Dogs had 2 American Association All-Stars. First person in with each name gets 4 tickets to the Salt Dogs this Saturday. Send those in on the text line, comment section, 402-464-5685 with those names. Strick, while we wait for those names really quick, a quick touch on some other baseball stuff going on. Alabama's baseball coach was fired mid-season due to some gambling allegations. Turns out he was really stupid. He was texting back and forth with this guy who he knew was betting, giving him inside information for this game against LSU that he was going to scratch his pitcher.
Pitching changes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's dumb on the coach's part. The actual guy that placed the bet, his name is Bert Neff, walked into the BetMGM Sportsbook up at Great American Ballpark, that's in Cincinnati, wanting to put $100,000 on a random Alabama LSU game.
Yeah.
It's like they weren't even trying to get away with it.
Yeah. I mean, that goes back again to just the systems that are put in place, because these flags that get raised are that's different, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the systems have changed so dramatically that it allows for this to be able to be somehow flagged or captured or caught. Or
Well, the cameras have HD video of Brad Bohannon's name, of Burt Neff's name in this app. Like, he's on camera. You can see
Right.
everything he's sending.
Well, but that's what's that's what's crazy. I mean, then you're able to dig and go into, supposedly cryptic messaging systems and be able to figure out that this is going down, and then do the investigation that takes you to this point. I think it's just bad business all the way around for a coach. I mean, the purity of the game, you would hope that just people would keep their mind focused on the kids and the program and the integrity themselves, and not get involved in that type of stuff. And I'm actually just glad I was never like a big betting dude and didn't get you'll go out there to Vegas and have some fun, sit on the table, but I'm just glad that I didn't get engrossed in that in college. Because actually, I'm going to try to have on the show possibly to discuss this now that we're talking about it even more. Stephen Smith, if you have a chance to hadn't had a chance to know his story, they've got a documentary. The name of the documentary, I'm not able to remember off of hand, but it deals with sports, not just his situation, but it was different sports scandals and things like that. And it dealt with Stephen Smith, who played at Arizona State, and he was involved in a point shaving scam with some of his players. Him being the point guard, it's a little bit easier to be able to kind of manipulate those situations a little bit. But yeah, that's one of the things that he kind of got himself caught up in, and it's unfortunate, but that's the way that things crumble. And I think I want to talk to him about that and kind of how it's went for him. He got banned for a while. It kind of probably hindered his NBA. He was a tremendous player. He did get a few 10 days and we played, but dang, man, it's just hard to have to see that so many programs, so many coaches, so many players are kind of succumbing to this now.
The other thing we will get to at some point is Georgia. Kirby Smart held a press conference yesterday, kind of out of the blue. So we don't have time to talk about that now, but we have that on the back burner. We have 4 tickets given away. Thunder, not Collins. You get 4 tickets. Nick Anderson is one of the 2 Lincoln Salt Dogs All-Stars. We've still got 4 tickets available for you if you can name the other Lincoln Salt Dogs All-Star from this season. 4 tickets to Saturday night's game. It's a ticket feature night with the Lincoln Salt Dogs at Haymarket Park. You want to come down and see the ticket crew, get that second All-Star name in. 4 tickets are yours for free. We're going to step aside. When we get back, some football talk in hour 2, college football recruiting, fact versus fiction, and NFL ones that got away as a part of Woe Week from one publication. We'll get into all that and more. Hour 2 on the block next.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Need service on your home air conditioner? Call the company Lincoln has counted on since 1952, Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. No matter what brand you have, when you need service, you want Bryant's experienced pros working for you. Friendly NATE certified technicians with the tools, training, and technology to restore your comfort quickly. No matter what brand, when you need service, just call Bryant. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
The wait is almost over. The Guardians of Freedom Air Show is the hottest event in the area. Coming to Lincoln's Air Park on Saturday, August 26th and Sunday, August 27th. Elevate your air show experience with tickets to the premium seating tent, padded seats, meals, and more for just $125. Premium tickets are going fast, so buy yours today. To purchase premium tickets and for more information, visit LincolnAirShow.com. We'll see you at the Guardians of Freedom Air Show in late August.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
It's Christmas in July at Pillar Restaurant Group when you purchase a $100 gift card and receive a $15 bonus card. One gift card for all of our locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, the Butchery and Venue at Home, and all Lincoln Good Sense subs. Our Christmas in July gift card special is available at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations or online at prgnebraska.com. That's prgnebraska.com to get a $15 bonus card when you purchase a $100 gift card.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and storms this morning. We'll see gradual clearing and partly sunny skies this afternoon with a high of around 89. Tonight, mostly clear skies are expected with a low of around 67. And tomorrow, partly sunny skies again. A long chance of showers and storms. A high around 91. Meteorologist out from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Let's get after it. Hour 2 on the block on a Wednesday. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're on stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. If you want to be involved in the show, want your name shouted out, if you have a good idea, good take, let us know. 402-464-5685. Sartor Heyman Hotline, Honda of Lincoln. Sartor Heyman Text Line, Honda of Lincoln Hotline, always available for you. We want to see you on Saturday. We've got a Lincoln Salt Dogs game that is a 93.7 The Ticket feature night. Come by, see us. But the easiest way to do that for you is free tickets. That's what we have here at 93.7 Ticket. We got tickets to give away to you. We've given away 4 tickets already to Thunder Not Collins. He got Nick Anderson as one of the 2 Lincoln Salt Dogs American Association All-Stars this year. If you know the other one, if you want to go to a Salt Dogs game on Saturday with a 6 o'clock first pitch, let us know the second All-Star for the Salt Dogs this year. Easy as that. If you look it up, I don't care. Send your name in, get the tickets. We won't call you out for cheating. We want to see you at the game, so get that name in. And the tickets are yours. Strick, let's just jump right into this. Something that I was thinking about, and this is, it comes down to something DP mentions pretty consistently. His job isn't always to find, the right answer. It's to ask the right questions. Mm-hmm. This is a topic that I can tell you I don't have the right answer for right now, but it got me asking a lot of questions. Specifically, as we look at Northwestern, right?
Okay.
Private school. And what do we hear a lot about, these private schools, the Northwesterns, the Stanfords, the Dukes?
You hear that the enrollment is difficult to get into for players that they're trying to recruit in some instances to get them in on their enrollment.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I think to some degree that's valid, because the academic standards are higher. So yeah, there's a higher bar to clear. I can understand where that thought comes from.
Yeah.
But I think that's incomplete. And sometimes, honestly, Strick, I think it's used as a cop-out.
As a cop-out?
Yeah, whether it's Northwestern in the Big Ten, whether it's Georgia Tech, Duke in the ACC, Stanford in the Pac-12, Notre Dame as an independent, another one that we hear that about. Because, Strick, when private schools win, it's because they have a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Like, they have money to spend. They have nice facilities. They can pick and choose the best of the best, right? And who wouldn't want to go to one of those places with their alumni connections, with all the money that flows into and out of, right? The whole 4 for 40 kind of concept.
Mm-hmm.
So we hear, especially I think with football and with men's basketball, that recruiting to those types of schools is harder.
Yeah.
It's difficult. It just doesn't work as well. Yet we hear all the time about all these other benefits that come from being there. So who wouldn't want to go there? It just doesn't quite
jive
with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is. It's an interesting topic of discussion, but I don't know if there's going to be an answer for this one, to be honest. I think it's a great topical debate question, but when we look at it as a whole, does it really, fit? I mean, I think all coaches, I think all programs in some way or another find a way to make an excuse for why there is a lack of success when there's lack of success, and to find a way to take onus and credit for it when the other side of the coin flips, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of what happens in these situations. In this situation alone, I think Northwestern was just behind in so many ways. I think they were behind in facilities. I think they were behind in the coaching staff has always been good, but I think they've been behind on how to manage and take care of things in the transfer portal. I think they've lost the in-state that they probably used to get some, because it is a very good school. It's very prestigious.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of governmental jobs usually come out of there. When you're talking about CIA, FBI, banking, a lot of those type of connections are developed there at Northwestern. And I think those are some benefits in some instances in time past, but I think it's changed with now a lot of these facilities and losing in state to Illinois now. I think they've lost some of that. You're getting those Chicago and those area of kids in that 500-mile radius for them too. So it's tough, but I don't know if I have an answer, bro.
And that's the thing. I don't know if there is an answer right now. I think you're totally onto something when you say a lot of times it is an excuse, right? When things aren't going well, you look for a finger to point. But Strick, I did do some research. I have some more numbers here, because my other worry is that universities are using both sides of this coin simultaneously, right? If you look at Northwestern, we know what their football program has been the last few years after a pretty good run for them under Pat Fitzgerald. Basketball has been mediocre at best before an NCAA tournament run last year. Well, Northwestern softball is making regionals and making super regionals pretty consistently. In the last 5 years, they finished 13th, 7th, and 16th. Northwestern softball has. Northwestern football, 10th and 21st. A couple times they finished ranked. Basketball hasn't finished ranked, but did make the NCAA tournament last year. Why is the standard different for Northwestern softball? Because they're winning. So, they can get the best players. They have the connections. But football and basketball don't. Stanford has won the Directors Cup 2 of the last 5 years. They have a lot of fantastic programs. But football and men's basketball are struggling. So all of a sudden, it's really hard to recruit to Stanford. Even Duke, like before Mike Elko got there last year, was okay under David Cutcliffe here and there. But men's basketball is a top 5 recruiting class basically every year. Football's down in the 50s and 60s. So either it's hard to recruit to a place or it's not. You can't have it both ways.
So so let's take this. I love where you're going, but let's take this into account. Do you have that same problem at Notre Dame?
I think so.
They've had success, right? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yep.
Then what's been the problem with Texas?
That's the question.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I mean, so I don't think. I mean, it is a very large school. I mean, I think their enrollment's in the 60, 70,000, maybe even 80. You have all the finances, the resources. Their system was set up very similar in the South to Notre Dame in that they have resources from the Longhorn Network, where it's basically they're dictating and determining how the things are going to go in the monetary aspect of the TV money. So I'm just throwing that out there.
The closest thing I can get to an answer, the closest determination.
Why is TCU better than? I mean, I don't know.
It's a question.
You know what I'm saying?
The only thing I have approaching an answer is coaching.
Okay.
Is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Because Pat Fitzgerald had that good run, right?
Yeah.
And maybe the retirement of Hankwitz as DC dropped the defense off a little bit. Duke football under David Cutcliffe was fine, but not a Mike Krzyzewski level coach, right? Stanford football, David Shaw is a good coach, but the results weren't there. So what's missing? Jared Haas, the basketball coach, fine, not, Tara Vandermeer level, not all Stanford's great volleyball coaches level. So to me, the closest thing we can get here is coaching. It comes down to the coaches, properly utilizing the facilities, properly utilizing the connections, and everything to that regard. If you get the right coach in place, they can maximize it, regardless of it. You're at, a big public school like Texas or a private school.
Yeah, well stated. Texter 1255 throws something out there. I'm not going to take the take that he has on this, because one thing that I can say about football that some people don't understand before I read this text is those playbooks and the studying of those playbooks and the understanding that it's not just you show up and are athletically gifted to get off. You are graded. You know what I'm saying? So you have to apply yourself to not only in your room, whatever the room you're in, to whatever coordinator side you're on, and then the totality of the game plan. So there's multiple things that you're graded on. You must review, you must be on top of. So I'm not going to say that, this, I totally agree fully with this texter. Texter says, it is way harder to recruit a football team with an academic standards that Northwestern has. Okay, I mean, that's some things we're not disagreeing on, but we have a different take on it as well. Why do you think the SEC is so strong?
We could probably stop it there.
I think we should.
I think that's fair, and that to me, Strick, is exactly what we're getting at. I think that's the old way of thinking.
Yeah.
Why is it easy for Duke men's basketball to recruit, but not Duke football? Why is it easy for Stanford volleyball to recruit, but not Stanford football?
Yeah.
It's the same institution. They should have the same academic standards regardless of the program.
Exactly.
You can't use that excuse.
Yeah, and you can't say that, kids, there are plenty of kids that come from that, the area of the SEC, that do very well in schools like that. So I can't totally agree with the texture on that one, but
because we're not comparing different schools. We're comparing different programs at the same school.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, how do you have that? How do you have that at Northwestern where they break out in a different way? So I can't say that. Then you could say some of that same thing for Penn State. You can say for other even Rutgers, but Rutgers in the basketball area has done okay as of late. Football has not. Who else? I think Seton Hall? No,
Seton Hall is solid. Penn solid.
They've had some solid teams back in the day. Some guys that played in the pros.
But I think it goes too strict to, you get in the mode of this is a football school. so basketball can't be good. This is a basketball school, so football can't be good. There's no reason for that. It doesn't have to be that way.
Do you think that the marketplace is just so thin that you're having some of these issues and problems as you continue to get down? Programs are you just thinking about what, 50, 60 players on each team, 300 something plus, not excluding the FCS. That's a lot of players that's out there, trying to compete to find a way. Is it just thinning out the marketplace, or what do you think?
It's a lot of players. It's a lot of institutions from, like you said, the D1 level down all the way to, D3 and even beyond that. I mean, JUCOs, everything included. So there's plenty of places for student athletes to go. And I'm sure that plays into it. I'm sure, team size, football does require more athletes than other sports. Maybe that plays in. But again, we're not comparing different schools. We're comparing at the same school, right?
Yeah.
If you get a coach that knows what a good player looks like and knows how to work with a good player, why can't...
So staffs matter.
Staffs matter. Coaching staff absolutely matters. And
is it a top to bottom thing?
Or is
it at the coordinator level, or is it a top to bottom thing? I think there's multi-tier. There are multiple tiers of coaches that. So in essence, to me, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and the defensive coordinator, in some instance, has to be an extended arm of him with some independence and some oversight,
and position coaches.
And then the position coaches, in that manner, as their heads of the OC and the DCs, they then also have to have a form of the same work ethic, the same drive, to be able to reach and touch. They got to be good at what they do. And so the delegations also have to be good from the coordinator's perspective as well, right? Otherwise, there's some schism that can begin to develop, and then you're not getting what you're looking for when you put that board together. I mean, I've seen boards being put together, and you put that board together, it has to be not only a cultural fit, it has to be a fit to style, it has to be a fit to the way that you play the game, right?
Absolutely. Anonymous texter here, 1562, says, make quality coaching hires that are good at talent development, and you can still succeed. That's what it comes down to.
I believe that.
Not every athletic department. I mean, it hasn't been done before where every single program in an athletic department has a successful season. You're not going to go, 19 for 19 on coaching hires. That is incredibly improbable to do. But just because you're a quote unquote football school doesn't mean you can't invest in basketball. Look at Alabama. They're paying Nick Saban and Nate Oates. Look at, what Arkansas thinks it wants to be doing. There's a football, basketball school, then football school, now maybe back to a basketball school. Look at Auburn. That's definitely a football first school. They go out and hire Bruce Pearl. Look at what Tennessee did. I know we're just throwing out SEC teams, but what about Kansas? They go pay and they get Lance Leipold. Kansas State probably thinks it's a football school after Bill Snyder. They pay for Chris Kleiman. They go nail the hire of Jerome Tang. There's no reason that there should only be one major program at a university that's good at
thriving. I agree.
If the standards are the same, there's no excuse for it.
Then my thing is, as I look out west, what happened to the Oregons? They got all the resources. They got everything you need. What happened to the Oregons? Why is, when you look out west, that you have pretty good like basketball programs, but the talent's out there. I mean, you go up and down California. Is it a style difference? Is it the way that they play? Why is Utah all of a sudden emerging? You know what I mean? Those are things that I wonder about. And like, why in a beautiful place like Arizona, how is it only thriving indoors as opposed to out?
Right.
That's weird to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's got to be room for multiple good programs at each university.
Yeah. What happened to University of Nevada, Las Vegas? They they fell like.
I need a couple documentaries for that one.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you fall that far from grace off the map? Like, to me, and their football program's always been doo-doo. You know, I mean, it's always been terrible. But their basketball program, why is there not much more success there? How is Nevada doing better than you in some instances in the state?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know, it's just things that make me say,
Yeah, my argument would come back to coaching, but to take it a step further, how much does the administration matter? Do you need a good administration before you can have good coaches, or can the right coach at the right university overcome maybe lackluster administration?
Man, I think it's tough. I mean, Sauter Heyman text line, you guys are great, man. 402-464-5685. Do you think that even like, let's just look here. Let's just stay right in state. Do you think like our fall from grace was partly because of administration heads as opposed to coaching heads? Or do you put the onus on the coaching or the administration not doing the right thing and hiring the right coaches? My issue is when it becomes political and not about the program, or when it becomes buddy,
right,
and not about the program. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, my buddy knows this guy who knows this guy, and then all of a sudden, you get in there, right? I don't know if we've done right by trying to make sure that we have the right. Now hopefully rule is that I'm hoping that in the search that there was some different discussions that were had, and it didn't have anything to do with the network of the buddy network. And maybe you're not hiring guys because you have some other reason behind it, but my goodness, it's a thing to have you say, just really say because it does. I'm sitting here like, it's weird.
Brad asks, why is Nebraska struggling at almost anything? Mississippi Mud Dog would answer by saying 2 different times Nebraska's fall from grace was on administration. I think, you can look at different programs and say you maybe missed a coaching hire here. Maybe you hired the right coach that took a misstep there. But ultimately, Strick, is it fair to say that Nebraska, as an athletic department, allowed itself to settle?
I think so. And this is the one thing that we talked about on WTF last night. So that's good that you kind of brought that up. One of the questions I threw out on We Talk Facts at last night was, did we get so comfortable in the brand where you just rely so, and I think I would look down in Texas and ask the same question. Like, do you just get so comfortable that the brand was just going to draw? You used to be comfortable in knowing that even though you didn't sign or offer a whole bunch of people, that you had a walk-on crew that just was coming in large swaths, and they were happy to just show up, and then they would earn their position. And that's not necessarily the case now. Did you get comfortable in the brand? I would just ask you guys and ask the that question to the listeners as well.
One program that didn't get comfortable was Nebraska volleyball, right?
Yeah.
The level they were winning at, they had that little lull where maybe their postseason success where they wanted it in the mid to late 2000s, early 2010s. And then John Cook adjusted. He found a new strategy with the move to the Big Ten, to playing Penn State every year.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe some other programs would have said, yeah, we'll compete with Penn State, but it's their conference. It's always been their conference. John Cook didn't settle. He went out and built to beat Penn State. I think you can argue that's what Wisconsin did, with Nebraska in volleyball, whereas some other programs, I think, were okay being where they were. Like you said, relying on the brand, relying on the history, instead of finding ways to adapt and adjust. And some of that's on coaches. Ultimately, they're in charge of their programs, but it also has to be on the athletic director in the athletic department for not holding their feet to the fire.
And I think so as we've had this discussion, I would look at the Northwestern situation with that eye. Because what can happen is you win a couple, you get comfortable, and it's similar to the conversations we've had before, like FAU. We talked about FAU, right? FAU, I would say that the drive, if I'm FAU, would be to stay, because I would become a mainstay from what I've done for the next 15, 20 years. Just you don't even have to be elite, but if you want to be hungry, you strive to be like Mark Few with your program. So within that 15 to 20 year scope, you're looking at, we want to become like not it, but like it, or Gonzaga light. So that way we can build this here, and you can become you can become Jim Boeheim and be like at Syracuse for the
your whole life.
Your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes you have to create ways to create to sustain the drive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You have to set a lofty goal and you have to, create that same drive. I think things like the portal and things like NIL threw monkey wrenches in like Northwestern's program as we get back on talking about that.
Mm-hmm. The thing about that too is that the best coaches are comfortable in who they are, in what they've done, in what they believe in.
Yeah.
And again, I think they do take, some comfort in their brand speaking for itself, but you earn that right. You earn the right to, wear Nebraska volleyball around and let that speak for itself. But at the same time, they're always making adjustments, not just because they feel they want to on a whim. All the time, they're evaluating their program. They're evaluating their players, their approach. They're talking to other coaches. They're seeing how other coaches are adapting to them and then trying to adjust to that. So even if you're comfortable with who you are and what you believe, there's always schematic or attitudinal adjustments that can be made. So you're not just, settling into a foundation, right? You're always, redoing a different coat of paint. You're always updating the furniture, that sort of thing, without, completely demolishing the house and the foundation.
Yeah. Again, you guys are great. Rhett Soda throws out private schools won't take everyone. That's just one of the unfortunate things about it. But again, it doesn't answer the question. I mean, those are speculative things that we throw out as a possible answer, but will we really even have the answer? It's hard to say. I don't know for sure unless somebody does a class study where they break it down and kind of go and do all these interviews and really look into it. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one to answer.
Speaking of speculation, what if for some major NFL moves? We're going to get in the time machine thanks to the hat tip from Yahoo Sports. Stricky brought this up. I'm fascinated by some of these what ifs. So we're going to dive into some hypotheticals in the NFL and the history for some teams. We'll do that next on the block.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
It was very easy. I felt like I walked out, started hanging with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful. I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman. Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and our Independence Day sale is underway with some great savings. Get 0.9% interest rates and a trade-in bonus on select new models. You heard right, 0.9% interest rates going on at Koppel. In addition, we didn't want to leave out our pre-owned inventory, so right now on all pre-owned cars, get $1,000 for bringing us your trade, and that's right, get $1,000 off any pre-owned car you trade in. So stop on in the store or at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 488-8934. HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Doren. God bless you.
It's Christmas in July at Pillar Restaurant Group when you purchase a $100 gift card and receive a $15 bonus card. One gift card for all of our locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, the Butchery and Venue at Home, and all Lincoln Good Sense subs. Our Christmas in July gift card special is available at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations or online at prgnebraska.com. That's prgnebraska.com to get a $15 bonus card when you purchase a $100 gift card.
The Nebraska Lottery presents one beautiful, crazy scratch ticket and promotion. It's the $5 Living Lucky with Luke Combs scratch ticket with a $50,000 top prize. Enter non-winning Luke Combs scratch tickets for an opportunity to win a trip to Nashville, a private concert with Luke at the Ryman Auditorium, and a chance at $500,000. The Living Lucky with Luke Combs concert experience will hit you like a hurricane. Details at nelottery.com. Living Lucky with Luke Combs scratch ticket top prize odds 1 in 128,000.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Junior Achievement of Lincoln inspires and prepares young people for success. Learn more about the people involved in the organization and the success stories over the years each Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Junior Achievement Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Now through July 19th, you can join for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 convenient locations worldwide and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. Whether you're a newbie or a gym pro, you belong in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, July 19th. See Home Club for details.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back on the block once again, E. Strick and Austin Orman here. I have 2 more segments left, Austin. The day continues to just whisk on by, but let's get into a little bit of discussion. I wanted to go this. I really wanted to dig into this one, Bram. I think this is a sweet topic. It is one to get involved with. We could also take a call or two because we want to hear what your worst moment is. I mean, you guys are great sports fans here. It's not limited. Let's not limit it to just NFL. You know, open your mind. It could be college. It could be college football. It can be college basketball. Open your mind and tell us what those moments and those woeful moments are. Because as a fan, all of us, we get excited about draft picks. We get excited about new recruits. We feel good about what's coming in, maybe the mistakes. And so busts don't just happen from a draft pick, a wasted draft pick, a bust in free agency. It doesn't always just happen in that mode. Sometimes it's a lost opportunity. Yep. That's the part that we're going to talk about right now. Those teams and those situations that we're going to start in football. Mm-hmm. And if something pops in our head, we'll delve off into the other. How you feel about this topic as we begin to get into it?
Man, every team has one big one that if you're a fan of the team, you can point back to and say, that's the one that got away. We should have done X instead of Y. But sometimes to your point, it's we should not have done X. We didn't do Y sort of deal. Because there's that opportunity cost both to do something and to not do it. Something. Every team in professional sports, every team that's ever existed has multiple of those. some of them just stick out more than others.
Like for example, how does the Portland Trailblazers feel by not signing Michael Jordan and signing Sam Bowie?
Ooh, pretty bad.
You know what I'm saying?
Bad.
Like, that's one of those moments.
Yeah.
He was there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's others that are like that. You know, we can dig into some other stories. A lot of people, and when you see these redrafts and stuff like that, but we're going to start in the football and the NFL because, you know, in this time in the season, baseball is king, but football comes quite quickly. All of a sudden, you'll look up and they'll be in training camp, and so we're going to dig into the football. And one of the ones that I think was very interesting, great long career Hall of Famer, in the news for other things as well at this particular time, but the one that I'm intrigued with was definitely the Atlanta Hawks and the trading of Brett Favre.
Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons. I mean, did I say Hawks? I meant the Falcons. Good gosh, that's in my basketball mind, always working. But yeah, I think that's one of the ones where the Falcons, they made one of the best draft picks in history and didn't know it. So in the second round in 1991, Atlanta took Southern Miss quarterback Brett Favre, and he goes on to set all kinds of NFL records. Like, what could have been the story of the Atlanta Falcons had that version of Brett Favre been on that team throughout the career that he put together in Green Bay and even in Minnesota?
Let's go through the Falcons starting quarterback. So they draft him in 91. They trade him in 92. From then, so 93 on, their starting quarterbacks, Bobby Hebert, Billy Joe Tolliver, Chris Miller, Jeff George, Chris Chandler, Tony Graziani, Steve DeBerg, Danny Cannell, Chris Chandler again. It took them a decade to get to Michael Vick. 10 years wandering in the quarterback wilderness because they traded Brett Favre away.
Yeah. Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that.
Missed opportunity.
And it's those ones that you just don't know.
They did better though the next time because they have Michael Vick.
Mm-hmm.
Everything goes down with the dogfighting and all that. 2007, they start Joey Harrington, Chris Redmond, and Byron Leftwich.
Oh gosh.
But then in 2008, they start Matt Ryan, and they're good for essentially the last 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they did better the second time.
Yeah, the second time around, they didn't make that same mistake. Who's out there is someone for you that kind of
this one is going to be a little bit of a crossover, a cross genre one, because it involves two of my teams.
Okay.
Let me just say, I will forever hold a grudge against John Elway. Yes.
Okay.
John Elway. So, first of all, the Kansas City Royals draft John Elway in the 18th round in 1979. He says, nah, bump that. I'm going to Stanford. Okay, you're an 18th round draft pick. That's fine. Whatever. No big deal. Also drafted by the Yankees, also turns them down. So I feel slightly less bad about that. But not only did John Elway not choose to play for the Kansas City Royals, he told the Indianapolis Colts if they drafted him, he was going to go play baseball. That's what he told the Colts.
The old baseball switcheroo, huh?
Yep. Colts still draft him number 1. Ernie Accorsi, the GM at the time, is saying don't trade him. But Robert Irsay jumps in, as Robert Irsay is known to do. He trades John Elway to the Denver Broncos. And again, we mentioned the Falcons quarterback wilderness. Try a decade and a half for the Colts before they draft Peyton Manning, a rather ignominious list of starting quarterbacks in between there. So John Elway has personally victimized me.
That's a good one. Again, who out there for you is that one pick or that one situation for you where your team, your college, your high school, I don't know, that they made a big mistake and decided to go a different way, and had that been changed, the circumstances would have been extremely different. Somebody threw a specific question to me. Let me check this out real quick. Hey, Strick, the worst sports moment for me personally in history of sports has got to be Nebraska versus Texas. 1 second left on the clock. Field goal goes in. Field goal goes in and cries like a baby. I was only 6 years old. Yeah, that's a bad sports moment, but more so on, I would say even worse for me if I'm talking about that was the wide right Nebraska kick. If I'm going to talk about that, where they should have been. It's so many things that should have happened in that Florida State game that they should have won, but nonetheless, that didn't happen. So I'm not going to be all up in arms about it.
The boo-hoo for that situation, if we can spin this back to what we're talking about, the what if, is if Nebraska wins, Texas doesn't go to that championship game against Alabama.
Oh, it's Alabama. That's sorry.
Bama.
That's the one. Yeah.
Do you throw TCU into that mix? TCU at that point was undefeated. They lost the Fiesta Bowl to Boise State, who was also undefeated, finished their season off there. Do you throw Florida in there? Florida was ranked 5th at the time. Ohio State probably doesn't get in, but we might have had the college football playoff even earlier if Nebraska beats Texas and we see TCU or Boise State in that national championship game.
Yeah, you're right. That could have changed the whole dynamic there. Let's see. Some people would say this, and this is in the running era, so this is something to consider and think about. The Carolina Panthers in 1996, the draft of 1996, and the reason why this is interesting to me because that was my draft year as well. The second draft in Panthers history, they ended up taking a running back at number 8. His name was Tim Biakapatuka.
Yes, it was.
But Eddie George was available, and they passed up on Eddie George, who ends up becoming that guy. Yeah, that hurt.
That stings. It's similar to that with the Steelers. They pass on Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Born in Western Pennsylvania. Oh, DP.
Oh, here he is.
Hi, DP.
We started it off. We didn't jump off DP. Come out the bullpen.
Okay, so I'm in Carolina with the Panthers when they make that pick. Samanga, Biakapatuka. Samanga. Also on that team was Greg Skrepenik, Matt Elliott, amongst several other Michigan Wolverines. And there was a personality profile. I don't know who was the quarterback for that Michigan team.
In 96. There's a guy by the name of a long time guy named Brady.
So through that and the other quarterback, his dad was also a great quarterback. Played at Michigan. His son played at Michigan, but his dad was a great Greasy. They had a full run of personality profile players. What Panthers wanted, and it's what happens in organizations.
That's kind of what we were talking about.
I keep telling people about organizations.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of things in play. There were two things in play. New talent was going to come from Michigan or Notre Dame, from factories. Old talent was going to come from Pittsburgh Steelers, 3-4 defenses and offense. That was the mentality. It always flows downhill. Coaches like to coach to their style and their preference. Carolina, they did it. It actually worked because of the veteran recruitment of guys like Kevin Green, Lamont Lathan. They had a bunch of Gerald Williams. So you had Notre Dame, Michigan, Auburn were the 3 schools of choice because Kevin Green, Gerald Williams, who played up front. They tried to get into the LSU pool, and then former Pittsburgh Steelers players or players who had played in Dom Capers 3-4 defense. There's always a method to the madness, and then it either fails or succeeds based on the development and the chemistry of what happens after that. What turned Carolina around had nothing. It was total happenstance, and it only fit on the break of this.
Pause. Is that why Cam Newton ended up there? Because he was part of that Auburn pipeline?
That was later.
Okay.
That was later.
Okay.
But you had success. And Dom Capers would say this all the time, copy success. Copy success. So he went and got as much of that Final Four, that 3-4 great defense from the Saints. He got as many linebackers as he could get. If he could have got Ricky Jackson, he would have. But Sam Mills becoming available and putting him in the middle of that Panther team is what changed that team. That's what changed the team. And it went off because they chose a quarterback that you couldn't get the guys you wanted, and you got Kerry Collins instead. And Kerry didn't have the intellectual foundation to be what Dom Capers needed for him to be. He was good enough for them to have success, but he wasn't ready for all the things that came with being the number one player drafted by the organization, and 2, not having the family foundation, which is that other thing that we never talk about. The family foundation affects what happens when you go places.
That's copying success,
right? Like you don't know, and all that Kerry's history was it was right there in front of him. They just didn't see it. That his dad was his best friend. His single dad was his best friend.
Yeah,
and
similar to what's going on in Memphis.
See,
come on, talk to me now.
Right?
Talk to me,
right? That when your dad relies on you to be your boy, there are things that are missed, and there are things that you
That's
do
why I appreciate mine.
Things you do for your dad, right? Look, you either become, and it can work both ways, because if you don't have your dad in your space, you can decide I'm never going to be that. Like you can decide I'm not, or you can copy what you know. If you think getting there is success, which for some people getting to the NFL is success because it takes you out of the situation you're in. But they miss out on the greater level of success on the work required beyond getting there. And Kerry was a member of that club. Now, Kerry got humbled and went to the Giants and got it together again. He matured. He learned to say no, all those things. But in Carolina, Dom had first of all, he had some horses. So Jerry Richardson, as the owner, was a former player. McCormick was almost a Hall of Fame level player as the GM. So they had people
that
knew enough to check each other's bounds. And that's why they had success, because none of them, while they had some things in common, they did some things differently. Nebraska fans can relate that if you have a Bob Devaney at the top of your program, and then you have a Tom Osborne at the second level of the program, and you have a Frank Solich as a third level, while they share some similarities, the differences cover each other. And that's the important. When you have a bunch of people who do the same thing the same way, if they're not all perfect, it crashes. It crashes. It has to. And anytime, it's like Jenga. You remove one piece. If you remove the Tom Osborne piece, what should have flowed naturally after that was interrupted. And you never got it back. You never got it back. And that's what happens in sports.
Man, listen, DP, thank you for dropping that hot science and coming on the block and making it hot. You guys went nuts on the text line as well. This is maybe a segment we may need to continue and get back into maybe tomorrow.
Well, we can roll it. We got the crossover, and we can roll it. It ain't nobody but us.
We got all that. So there you go. DP is going to probably hang around. We'll continue this conversation. We'll get some of you guys' thoughts as well as we cross over with the old school crew right after this. 93.7 The Ticket. Strick and Austin Orman. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control at Prairie Orthopedic Plastic Surgery Care in Lincoln. Broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better, pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Proud to be voted Best Vape Shop.
Generation V.
Is thrilled to announce our newest location is now open at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Explore the largest selection of vape, Delta 8, Kratom, all your favorite brands of disposables, e-liquid, and premium THCA flower.
Generation V.
We'll guide you through our extensive collection to help you find the perfect fit.
Generation V.
With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, Seward, York, Kearney, and Beatrice. Visit our newest store now open at 27th and Superior in Lincoln. GenerationV.com. E6 contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Relief of air conditioning after a hot day in the summer sun. For only $2.88 a day, LES helps power life's special moments and your comfort. Learn more at les.com/value.
The Nebraska Lottery presents one beautiful crazy scratch ticket and promotion. It's the $5 Living Lucky with Luke Combs scratch ticket with a $50,000 top prize. Enter non-winning Luke Combs scratch tickets for an opportunity to win a trip to Nashville, a private concert with Luke at the Ryman Auditorium, and a chance at $500,000. The Living Lucky with Luke Combs concert experience will hit you like a hurricane. Details at nelottery.com. Living Lucky with Luke Combs scratch ticket top prize odds 1 in 128,000.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. It doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 7 Van Dorn. God bless you.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take first a better pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see currents.
93.7 Fox KFM weather. Sponsored by John Heating Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of showers and storms this morning. We'll see gradual clearing and partly sunny skies this afternoon with a high of around 89. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of around 67. And tomorrow, partly sunny skies again, along with a chance of spotty showers and storms. See high around 91. Meteorologist Kyle for 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I can't take it. I cannot take it. You guys just listen. We have to have an Allo 951, 93.7 The Ticket After Dark. I mean, if you could just hear the conversations of the depth of the conversations that go on when we're all off the air, it's just
waiting for
absolutely
sponsorships, man.
Hey, listen.
They would make that money back tenfold.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Ticket After Dark would be off the chain. Listen, we started to get into these missed opportunities and missed moments. We have the text line went hot. I'm gonna let Austin kind of go in there and take a look at some things.
Somebody's mad at Dave Tepper. What you mad at Dave Tepper for? What they mad at?
Hey, mad at him. I mean, a lot of people. There's some people on here mad at Jamarcus Russell in 07. They was like, that's a big mistake.
Yeah, Mitchell Trubisky. I see it.
So we have a lot of stuff that's jumping off. I'll let Austin kind of dig in that and see which ones are willing to bring to the forefront. But look, we looking at some of these teams, man, and there's some that I just threw out there, and there's some that I'm kind of interested in based on what ended up happening, what was the difference and why, and the impact and all of that stuff. But then there's one, like, I want to talk about the Cowboys because, I spent a lot of time there in Dallas. So what's your thought about this one? Because to me, it's not crazy, but it is one to consider. So the Cowboys, they wanted to find a new offensive star. They wanted to get somebody that was going to raise the bar for them. So they traded 2 first-round picks to the Seahawks for a guy by the name of Joey Galloway.
I remember that.
So little did they know and come to a conclusion is that the deal would involve Sean Alexander, whom the Seahawks took with one of those picks. And he would go on to become the NFL MVP.
And he's probably, before Marshawn Lynch was, you could argue that he's the best running back in Seattle Seahawks history, him and Marshawn. Obviously Kurt Warner as well, but still, I mean, that was a big pick. It's kind of like when the Chargers got pimped by the Manning family and, traded, and then, they got picks, or San Diego got picks, and they got LaDainian Tomlinson, Hall of Famer, and I think Sean Merriman as well, who was the defensive rookie of the year, All-Pro numerous times. So, the thing is, when these deals are made, you just never know who's on the back end. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is that sometimes, especially Jerry Jones is one of those guys, I think.
Real quick, go station.
We got station. Okay.
Real quick station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
I think sometimes when you get these owners and GMs, you've seen it in the NBA, there's no difference, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, just because and DP had a really good point yesterday. And I don't know if we said it on the air or off air. Just because these some people are in superior or authoritative positions doesn't mean they're actually qualified or smart. They can act, and they might be qualified and or smart, but sometimes they do some dumb stuff.
Yeah.
So yes, Joey Galloway was really good in Seattle, but he was from the AFC. Then you're bringing a very smallish receiver to the NFC. It's a total different game.
A little more physical on the outside.
Back then, that NFC East, Philly, Giants, Cowboys, that's a
Frisco.
Well, Frisco, and then with the Redskins, then they were really good. I mean, there's some big dudes out there.
Oh yeah,
and so it's a totally different ball game, and that's half your season. So that's really what you this is what GMs I think miss, and this is also with basketball too, miss the point. Whether it's trading up to draft a guy, or trading someone, or trading a veteran, or acquiring a veteran, or however they go about it when the mistakes are made. They think about where you're at and don't think about where you're going or going to be,
Mhm.
right? So just because, let's just say a kid from the transfer portal comes in from the old WAC, right? So we do a total contrast, right?
Yeah.
The WAC. So that's like Hawaii, where they would, quarterback and throw it all over the place.
Fresno.
Fresno. Or you say you got a running back, right? That really does some things.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think a few years ago, a running back got drafted really high from Fresno State, and he never made it because he never was used to the physicalness of the game. Now, he's a big old strong looking dude, but he couldn't handle it. Well, then now, say in the back when we were playing strict, you have the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And granted, you're not trading, Jay Foreman and Strick for a guy at a transfer portal, but you go and, spend time, resources, and money, overlook Austin and Strick as either high school recruits, JUCO recruit, to get this kid from Fresno, and he comes in the old Big 8 from Fresno.
Oh, yeah.
Snapped in half.
And then you're wondering why he isn't used to it, because the practices are different, the environment is different, and the football is way different. So when you talk about these trades and stuff that happen, even when you think about amount of money that the Raiders, invested in Jamarcus Russell, or what Chicago did to trade up to get Mitchell Trubisky, or look, if you want present day example, is what San Francisco gave up to draft Trey Lance, and now Brock Purdy's a starter. Now, Trey Lance, I don't think he is fully bottomed out, because with him,
he's still got
been injured.
Yeah.
And when he's played, he's done
not bad.
He's done pretty decent. Or let's just look at Green Bay. They just decided, for whatever reason, after Aaron Rodgers wins an NFL MVP, literally just won an NFL MVP, you go into the offseason
and draft a quarterback.
Right. That'd be like, let's just say in Dallas, right? Dirk Nowitzki just
wins a championship
MVP, and they just go draft Chris Mingus, the next year.
Yeah.
The exact same player.
Right.
Or, potentially same player.
Right.
When they need
other things, guard,
backup center, or something like that. That's where they that's where they overthink the things, and it's either they overthink it and become dumb, or they think they're so smart that they think they have, the market cornered, and it never works out. The people that usually do well, this, they usually have an identity of a player that they like in their organization. So in basketball, Miami Heat, Pittsburgh Steelers in football, and they stick to the plan, and then they add guys that fit that script, and they generally win 9 times out of 10.
That was what DP was saying. I'm going to throw this out to both of you, because I think this kind of it's a dual correlation and a double question, double entendre, if you was flowing and rapping.
Yeah, I don't know what that means though.
Yeah, it's in rap.
Austin stumped me yesterday. You coming back from Vegas? I see. I like that.
What would have happened if the Detroit Lions were able to keep two of the retirees that left before their prime? That's Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. That's one. Second part of that touches Barry Sanders, because in '88, the Packers were on their way to get the number 1 pick, ended up coming up short by a game, and the Dallas Cowboys ended up taking Troy Aikman. But they were in great position at number 2.
Green Bay.
Oh,
yeah.
In great position at number 2. That whole draft pick, that whole 89 draft was absolutely phenomenal. So here's what you got.
Yeah, let's get it.
In '89.
Hold on. Let me get this. Hold on. Let me catch up now.
Catch up.
See, I was a little thrown off by that big word though. You hit me with a body blow. Yeah.
Here, I'll answer on the Barry Sanders thing real quick.
Yeah.
I don't think they go to Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Detroit back then was just rinse and repeat. That's why he got sick. Because
but still, you should have done something with them, or moved them and got some assets.
They should have.
Yeah.
But then they weren't doing anything either way. They wouldn't get rid of him, because me and Barry Sanders had the same agent. They wouldn't get rid of him, and they wouldn't acquire people.
Yeah. So they would.
When you're looking at Scott Mitchell as your quarterback, and you
come on, somebody. Real
All right, Barry.
So that's easy. That's easy, right? But in that draft, here's some of the names.
Here you go.
That were available
at number 2.
They passed on Barry Sanders, Derek Thomas,
Deion
Sanders.
Deion might have told him he ain't coming though, so he don't. Deion doesn't count. Deion doesn't count, because Deion told him. Remember, he wasn't going to Green Bay.
He wasn't going to Green Bay.
So Deion don't count, but I still would have drafted him anyway.
I would have took him, and then
all right, go ahead.
Had to move.
Yeah,
and they end up that's just a couple of them.
There's some more. Trace Armstrong, Eric Metcalf, Andy Heck was a really good offensive lineman. Jeff Loggeman was okay, a little bit lower end. Steve Atwater, Hall of Famer.
Come on.
Andre Badmu Rison, borderline Hall of Famer, great player, played well over 12, 13 years. Hey, Lewis Oliver, the first big, strong safety for the Dolphins. Jake around here probably all hype. Everybody knows Lewis Oliver. Steve Wisniewski. He'll probably end up being a Hall of Famer at some point in time. Let me see. Carnell Lake was great. It was a great. He played corner and safety, so he played with Pittsburgh. He was really good. Daryl Moose Johnston, you could have got there. Now we're in the second round.
Yeah, he wouldn't have probably been.
No, yeah, but okay, but
I see where you at.
And you got Eric. I know I mentioned Eric Metcalf. You got. There's tons that you could have drafted besides number 2. But I will say this though, before we get into it, I know you're talking about it, and he's up until Jamarcus Russell, he was viewed as the biggest bust. When you watch his tape, he really wasn't a bust. Now,
was it his heart? Was it a heart issue?
No. Well, what it was is he was probably a right tackle. Then they were trying to have him play left tackle. Now, granted, he was supplement enhanced in college. Versus when you going, Reggie White got that. He got the strength from the gods or something. I mean, I ain't never seen somebody throw 300-pound men.
He was Kratos. He was Kratos on God of War. I tell you, good God.
So the strength wasn't it, and the quick is faster. But then I'm gonna tell you what, when Tony Mandridge left and came back, and I know he had a little bit of issues with painkillers or whatever it was. When I played against him when he was at the Colts, he actually was really good.
Better.
He was
really good. Better.
But he probably with the being on the front of Sports Illustrated. Remember that? And they went grocery shopping with him, and he drink a gallon of milk. It's tough to come back to because you got Derek Thomas and Barry Sanders, Green Bay. Barry Sanders.
Come on, somebody.
Derek Thomas.
Just think what that would have looked like.
And you know what? But here's what I also think. I wonder, and Broderick Thomas went 6, right? So I wonder if Broderick Thomas's career would have been different if he went to Green Bay or went to another team, because Tampa Bay back then was a really bad organization. It's not like it's now, or even when Gruden and Tony Dungy was there. Just going there. I mean, Steve Young didn't want. Bo Jackson didn't want to go there. Bo Jackson was like, "I'll go back to college." So that lets you know how bad it was. It's kind of like the Chargers when Eli Manning didn't want to go there. You know, where you get drafted. You know this. Where you get drafted or where you go as a free agent, right, can make or break your career. And that's why you better have an advisor, an agent, and then on the flip side, you better have your group intact making those decisions. It's tough, man. That's why it's so important down there at the stadium. Guys you recruit.
Yeah.
Everybody's a good athlete.
Yeah.
You know, Coach McBride used to always say, man, you know, we're going to see whether your heart pumps Kool-Aid or the real stuff. And he would look you dead in your eye and ask
tell you about it.
Yeah, we're going to see.
Get him, Austin.
Good stuff. What's coming up on Old School?
We're going to finish it. We're going to talk a little bit about Northwestern. They had a little timeline that throws a definitely a did you ever face the EFIS pitch? And you ever seen it's like, what is that?
The super slow, like super rainbow, slow? Yeah, like 45 miles an hour.
That throws people off. The EFIS pitch. There were some guys that like Phil Necro used to throw that.
Zach Greinke busted out.
Yeah. Well, this timeline of the complaint came out. It's a little different now. It sheds some light. It kind of murkies up the waters a little bit, and then we'll go in a little bit of that. Talk about the All-Star game, but then listen, man, we're getting down to dirty time, man. This is it. This is do or die Brooklyn, New York time, because you know what? We know it's right around the corner.
Oh yeah,
football time. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we talked about how quick it's gonna come up on you,
and we're gonna go just not gloss over. We're gonna go over the roster and who needs to step up. Because I'm gonna ask Austin.
Yeah,
who needs to step up? You know that.
Yeah,
who needs to be
somebody's
challenged?
got to come forth. Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about that on Old School, and
we call this. It's something we call it, but you can only hear that on 93.7 After Dark.
Yeah. Calling you to the carpet.
Yeah.
That's what you call it. So
yeah.
Jay Foreman, Austin, Old School. We'll be right back.
Proud to be voted Best Vape Shop.
Generation V
is thrilled to announce our newest location is now open at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Explore the art of vape, Delta 8, Kratom, all your favorite brands of disposables, e-liquid, and premium THCA flower.
Generation V.
We'll guide you through our extensive collection to help you find the perfect fit.
Generation V.
With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, Seward, York, Kearney, and Beatrice. Visit our newest store now open at 27th and Superior in Lincoln. GenerationV.com. E-cigs contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Now through July 19th, you can join for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 convenient locations worldwide and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. Whether you're a newbie or a gym pro, you belong in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, July 19th. See Home Club for details.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 7th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether a new roof installation, repair, or a re-roofing project, our goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place